You found The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. All rights to this original book and to my presentation of it are reserved. We are utterly delighted that you're here. We're on chapter 83, and that's called Flight Patterns. I'm going to begin as soon as you take your seat. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to leave your burdens behind. This is under 10 minutes of just relaxation, I hope. That's what I wish for you anyway. Chapter 83, Flight Patterns. Hans flew out of Zurich on Friday night. He landed in Mexico City on Saturday morning. He took a charter to Buenos Aires on Saturday afternoon, and he took a cab to his penthouse where he slept on Saturday night. He was knackered. He was alone in the penthouse, and that was just the way he wanted it. He had not told anyone when to expect him back. He slept. He ordered takeout food that was delivered to the lobby, and the doorman brought it up. He slept some more. He looked out on his world, and perhaps for the first time in his life, he felt a void. He got a hold of an old acquaintance who knew people who knew people. He told the man what he wanted, and by the following Tuesday, he had a full copy of Bertie's medical records from the hospital in Zurich, and he had 2 separate sets of medical opinions based on the x-rays and medical notes. They both agreed that with some hard work, Bertie would recover, but that it would be utterly foolhardy of him to ever play hockey again. Hans cursed. He smashed a lamp. He spent time fuming, and he wished he had made that boy and that coach suffer far more before he finished them off. He entertained that fantasy for a while, and then he slept again. When he got up, he ordered more takeout, and he looked out of the windows. He got a hold of the guy who knew people once more, and he told him to have something delivered to Bertie's hospital room. I want it engraved, he said to the man who knew people, and he was told that it would be there the following day. He also told the man that he wanted to pay for the hospital bill. Neither could be associated with him in any way. The man who knew people said that he would take care of it. A letter came to the penthouse later that week, but it didn't come through normal mail. The doorman said that a woman had dropped it off. She told him that it was given to her by a man who brought it in from China. China? Oh well, figuring out Klaus's ways makes my head hurt, Hans thought. It was in the florid script that he identified as Klaus writing. It reported the name of the ship that was carrying the cargo to Montreal. It said that one set of containers labeled medical supplies would be delivered to Montreal at the final stop, but the real containers would be dropped off first at another port further up the St. Lawrence River before the ship ever got to Montreal. Klaus made a joke out of the wordplay to throw anyone off who tried to trace the cargo ship, he said. The captain was reliable, Klaus asserted. He had employed him on many occasions. Included in the envelope were all the access codes and locations. Then there were pages of contents, all neatly listed and categorized in columns. Just when Hans thought nothing could shock him anymore, he discovered he was wrong. The old man had so many priceless objects that the value in those shipping containers made the money Hans had passed along look like pocket change. Thinking of Klaus made him wonder how his death had been reported. He got a hold of the guy who knew people again and requested the news coverage on the specified dates in Zurich. 2 days later, the doorman brought up a manila envelope when he brought up his takeout food. As he ate, he read about the murders and relived them. He didn't think about Klaus. When he did, he went and he got that nice towel to make sure it was in the laundry. He also found the keys to Klaus' house, and he called the doorman to see if he could get it framed. Klaus had told him to put it into the garbage receptacle at the airport, but Hans didn't want to. If Klaus wanted to haunt him for it, Hans thought they could have a good chat. He wanted to keep it. It would stay in his penthouse and remind him of the old man's trust in him. Hans would have it framed, he decided. He was surprised about the fingerprints identifying his old friends. He was more surprised that he had left any behind himself. "Careless, you dumb-cough," he imagined Klaus saying. He laughed when he read that the police were searching for 2 different murderers, and he was fascinated that they knew about his passion for breaking fingers. It is strange to realize that people know something about you that you barely know about yourself, he reflected. The newspapers said that they had no idea of where the other 3 war criminals were. He wondered, not for the first time, if the other guys had it better living in Europe. He didn't think so. Life was good in Buenos Aires. No one was chasing him. No one cared what he did. He had all the luxuries he wanted, especially if he could find more of those Egyptian cotton towels like Klaus had. As far as Hans was concerned, this was the best of all worlds. No one knew that he had Klaus's treasures. In fact, he didn't have them. Bertie did. He just didn't know it. Hans had everything he needed in Buenos Aires. He had more wealth than he could spend in 3 lifetimes, and now Bertie had more than he could spend in 20. That felt better than Hans ever expected. That's the end of this chapter, chapter 83. We look forward to seeing you for the next chapter, which is chapter 84. It's called Making Connections. We look forward to seeing you again. Please come back. Also, please consider hitting subscribe and thumbs up. We like our thumbs up too. Thank you. Bye-bye.